Good day, class! Are you ready to learn? I am your teacher for today. I am Miss Evangeline Archaga. You will call me Miss Evan. Okay? Before we start, let us pray first. Okay, Miss Angelica, kindly lead the prayer. Amen. Thank you very much for that. But before we proceed to our lesson for today, I want to tell you our classroom rules for today. First one is to participate actively. Okay? Next one is to encourage others to collaborate or to participate in our classes. Next one is to avoid distractions like making loud noises, making unnecessary movements, or using your gadgets while in the class. Next is to communicate respectfully. You still need to communicate respectfully in front of your classmates or co-learners in order for us to have a peaceful class throughout our session. Next one is engage positively. Okay, so that we will have a positive environment in our class. Is that clear? Very good. Now, before we start, I have a question for you. What would you do? I have situations and then you will choose one. And a piece of paper, you will write 1 to 2 sentences explaining what would you do and why in that situation. So after you write your explanation, after 2 minutes, you will pass your paper and then I will choose 2 volunteers to share their answers in front of the class. Is that clear? Is my instructions clear? Alright, thank you. Now here are the situations. Number 1, you studied hard for a test but you suddenly feel nervous and unsure of yourself. What would you do if that situation happened to you? Next one is, your friend blames you for something that you did not do. That's kind of betraying, isn't it? Now, for our last situation, heavy rain prevents your group from finishing an important task outside. Yes. Now, please write your answers on a sheet of paper. Okay, 2 minutes is up. Pass your papers, please. And then I will choose 2 volunteers. Okay, here's your lollipop. Remember everyone that when you collect your lollipop, in the end of the class, I will give you rewards depending on how many collected lollipops you have. I have here 3 pictures. What can you say about these pictures? The first one, yes? Yes, Miss Angelica, you have an answer. What can you say about this picture here? Okay, very good. What a wonderful insight. Here is your lollipop. Now, how about the picture, the second picture in the middle? Did you experience that kind of frustration before? Yes, Miss Jayla, you want to answer? Yes, okay, stand up. Okay, very good. That was a very nice experience. Yes. Now, here's your lollipop. Thank you for your participation. Based on our activity earlier and this one, on this connected to this picture, what do you think is our topic for today? Anyone? Anyone who wants to answer? Yes, Miss Rio? Okay, that's a very good idea indeed. Here is your lollipop. Now, before we proceed to our topic, I want to tell you our objectives first. Okay, class, please read the letter A. So, good. Next, please read categorize 5. Yes, thank you. Now, for the last, express the significance. Okay, thank you very much for that, class. Now, topic for today is all about conflict or internal versus external conflict. Now, any one of you have an idea or an insight on what conflict, internal or external, based on our topic today? What can you say about it? Yes, Miss Angelica again. What a very participative student. Yes. For our conflict, we have, this is the definition. A conflict is a struggle between opposing forces, most especially in stories like prose, novels, short stories like that. It's the obstacle that prevents a character from achieving their desires or goals So without conflicts, a story is a very boring, and it wouldn't have any tension, excitement, and ultimately the meaning of the story. So conflict is very important. We have two types. So the types of conflict, first is the internal conflict. Internal conflict is a struggle that takes place inside a character's own mind, heart, or conscience. So there is one under the internal, which is the man versus self. So it is a struggle within a character's mind, often in their own struggles, emotion, choices, beliefs, their doubts about themselves. So basically, in this kind of conflict, the character battles itself or their selves in their own challenge. So, for example, here there is The Soul of the Great Bell, which is a Chinese legend by Lafcadio Hearn. So, the conflict here is that Kong Ai is torn between her instinct for self-preservation or her natural fear of death. Now, you can observe, right, that in this story that she battles herself, her own fears. That is why it is man versus self. Okay, so the next type of conflict is external conflict. Okay, before we proceed to external conflict, any questions about the internal conflict? If you don't have any questions, I will question you. Okay, Miss Sarah, I have a question for you. What is internal conflict? If you really listen. Yes, that's very good. You really did listen. You have a lollipop. Now, to proceed in external conflict is a conflict that occurs between characters and other external forces such as technology, nature, society, and when we say internal, that means by themselves, in their body. They are battling that kind of struggle. And when we say external is outside of your own body, which means other forces. Have here the under the external. For example, man versus man. This kind of conflict is the most recognizable and the most popular among the conflicts in a story. It is where a protagonist faces direct opposition from another character or an antagonist. So, do you familiarize this? Man versus man? Yes, very good. Alright, do you have any questions? Okay, very good. Now, for the next one is man versus society. So, in Man versus Society, the character rebels against societal expectations, societal norms, unfair laws, traditions, and communities' collective mindset. The character often faces opposition and persecution. So, the character not only faces just one man like the previous conflict, which is man versus man. This is opposing the larger group of people or a community or the society itself. So, do you understand? Okay, you said you understand. I have a question. What are the conflicts under the external conflicts so far that I mentioned? Okay? Okay, very good. You really listened. Here is your lollipop. Now, let us proceed. Next is man versus nature. So the character struggles to survive against natural elements, severe weather, wildlife, or environmental disasters. Now, in this conflict, it is not society or man but natural phenomenon like typhoons, landslides, earthquakes, anything related to natural happening. Now, okay, is that clear? Okay, very good. Now for our next one is man versus technology. It is increasingly prevalent in modern storytelling. This conflict involves a character struggling against technology, whether it's malfunctioning equipment, artificial intelligence, or the unintended consequences of technological advancement. So it is very relevant in our time today because as you can see, we are in the 21st century and technology is very imminent. Okay, that is all for our discussion. Now, I have a question. What are the two kinds of conflict? In order to really know that you listened to my discussion. Okay, Miss Angelica, yes, you raise your hands. Oh, very good. Here is your lollipop. Now, what type of conflict is under the internal conflict? Yes, Miss Joy, what is your answer? Yes, very good. Here is your lollipop. Okay, next one. Last question. What are the conflicts under external conflict? Yes, Mr. Joshua. Yes, that's right. I will give you 2 lollipops. Okay, thank you so much for participating, everyone. Now, let us proceed to our conflict sorting challenge. Before we start our activity, I want you to count to 5. Okay, let's now go to your groups. Okay, the count of 5, I want you all to be arranged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very good. Now for the instruction, each group will receive a set of literary conflict scenario cards and a sorting board with the following categories. So, you will read each scenario as a group. You will be given a printed copy of the scenario. Here is it. And then, you will discuss the problem or the struggle experienced by the character. You will be given a manila paper and you will draw the sorting board. After that, each group will place each scenario card under the correct conflict category of the sorting board. Be ready to explain your answers briefly. Alright, here is the scenarios. This scenario, you will stick it in your sorting board. I have an example of the sorting board here. Okay, I will give you 3 minutes to complete this activity and then you will present it here in front. Okay, 5 minutes is up. Pass your papers, pass your answers. Okay. Very good. Now, settle down everyone, settle down, go back to your seats. We will have a quiz. Are you ready? Yes. Now, I want you to get 1/4 sheet of paper and then write the correct letter of your answer from the choices below. So, are you ready? You have no choice but to be ready. Yes. For question number 1. I will only give you 10 seconds per question. Okay? Okay, that is it for our quiz. Now, please pass your papers. Yes, very good. Now, for our activity again. Okay? You must find a pair and the both of you will write a 3 to 5 sentence reflection answering the guide questions below. Choose one type of conflict discussed in class. Describe a real-life situation where this conflict may happen and explain one positive way to resolve it. Okay, did you get the guide question? I will present to you the rubric. Here is the rubric. You will be given only 2 minutes. Okay, time is up. Please pass your papers. Very good. Now I have 3 last questions. For our first question. First question is, what are the conflicts that was discussed earlier? Very good. That is right. Now here is your lollipop. Now for the second question. Why is it important that there is conflict in a story? What a very great insight. Now for the last question. Does a story have significance if it doesn't have conflict in it? Very good. Here is your lollipop. Now, before we end our session for today, I have here super last assessment. So the directions is read each situation carefully, identify the type of conflict being shown, write your answer on a 1/2 sheet of paper. Here are the choices. These are the situations. Okay, I will give you 2 minutes only to answer these assessment. Okay, the time is up. For your assignment, pass your papers first. For your assignment, I want you to think of a movie or a television show or anime or story or real life situation that you recently encountered. Identify one conflict shown and write the title or situation, the type of conflict involved, one positive way the conflict can be resolved. Is that clear, class? Thank you. Now for the rubrics, here is it. And that is it for our session today. Class, I hope that you learned something from me and I hope that you listened well to me. Okay? Goodbye, class. This is me, your teacher, Miss Evangeline, and I am signing off.